Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be about my depression. I'm going to talk a little bit about what you guys can do to help your depression, some things I do to help my depression, and what my depression consists of, because it's different for everybody. Alright guys, so I want to just jump in. I'm going to probably insert this right after my intro, but I want you all to know that I have started doing bloopers, so I'm leaving in some of my bloopers from the video, so stick around after my outro for those, because those are pretty funny. And I do have some really good bloopers in the boyfriend tag video with Kyle, so I'm sure some of you probably missed out on those, so if you want to go back and watch those are pretty fun. I already did say this, but I want to talk again. It's different for everybody. No depression is the same. Depression can be caused because of things or can be related to something, or it can be just because. When I was first diagnosed with anxiety, they told me that I also had depression, and I didn't really think so because at first I didn't think that I had depression. I never really felt depressed. I mean, everybody gets sad now and again, but I never really felt like, wow, I'm really depressed, or I'm so sad I can't get out of bed in the morning. So that was at 13. Really, I didn't notice a depression or a depressed state of mind until I lost my mom. And it was probably even after the first year or so that I had lost her, because the first year that I lost my mom, I felt numb. I didn't feel anything. I tried not to feel anything, and I tried to avoid feeling any emotion. So I didn't really cry, and if I did, it was very spread apart. As in, I would cry one day, and then it would be like 3 months until the next time I cried, because I just didn't feel anything, and it was because I didn't want to feel anything. I guess you could say I didn't really know how to feel anything anymore. My body was still readjusting to not having the emotional support system that I used to have. So I guess my emotions just kind of shut down, and I wasn't really sad, I wasn't really happy, I didn't really have any emotions at all. Like I said, I just felt numb. So again, depression is different for everybody. Depression for one person can be feeling sad all the time, but still getting up, going to work, going to school, still doing everyday things in life, but being depressed while doing it. So that's like a fully functioning depression. And then there's the depression where you're basically crippled. I've been the fully functioning depressed Caitlyn, and then I've also been the Caitlyn that's depressed, that can't get out of bed, that doesn't want to eat, that doesn't want to shower. As gross as that is, it's true. There are days where I don't want to shower, I don't want to brush my teeth, I don't want to eat, I don't want to go to the bathroom, I don't want to move. I just want to lay there and stare at the ceiling or sleep all day long. That's just how it is. There are days where absolutely not. I don't want to do anything but sleep or cry. But you figure out what helps you through those times. And again, that's kind of what this video is going to be about. Some tips that I can give you guys to help with getting through that depressed state so that you can, keep moving with your life. This video is really hard for me because I hate talking about my depression. My anxiety for me is a little bit easier to talk about because I've had it for so long and I've experienced it in so many different ways. My depression just recently has started to take a toll on me, probably within the last 2 or 3 years. And it's gotten to the point where I do have those days where I'm crippled, and I do have those days where I'm fully functioning, but my depression has definitely gotten a lot worse, like I said, in the last 2 or 3 years. Before that, I didn't really ever, realize that I had depression. Like I said, don't get me wrong, I felt sad, or I felt overtired or emotionless, but I never really felt, I thought anyway, depressed. So I hate talking about it, like I said, because my anxiety I know like the back of my hand. My depression is something that's different every single time I have it, and I'm sure a lot of you that do have it can relate to that. My depression, when I get it, I could be depressed for 1 day, or I could be really depressed for 3 weeks. I could even be depressed for 3 months. It's very different every single time, and the time that I get it for a day, it could be I'm so depressed that I can't function, and then the time that I get it for 3 months, I could be a fully functioning person with depression. It's so different every single time, and the reason that you get it, if there is a reason even, because you don't need a reason to feel depressed. It's not something that anybody can control. It's one of those emotions that we have no control over. Story time. When I was about 14 years old, I told a friend, I was in my freshman year of high school, I had told a friend that I have been experiencing anxiety and depression, and she asked me what I was feeling depressed about or having anxiety about, that my life was so good that it was impossible for me to be feeling that, and that, you know, I have no reason to feel that way and things like that. First of all, she didn't know my home life, so I could have been, you know, frankly, my home life was pretty good, but the fact of the matter is she didn't know my home life, so she didn't know what I was going through, and she had no right to say that, because you don't have to have a reason to feel depressed. You don't have to have a reason to be sad. It's not anything that anybody can control. So if somebody ever says to you, like, oh, why are you feeling depressed? Don't feel the need to share your story with them, because it's nothing that you can control. I hate talking about my depression because it makes me feel weak. It makes me feel like I'm not in control of myself, because it isn't something I can control. Again, it's out of my hands when or why I feel depressed. I don't have real control over it. And so I definitely feel weak talking about it. I personally, when I have those times where I do feel depressed, I definitely feel mentally and emotionally drained and tired. I feel exhausted all the time when I'm feeling depressed. I feel so tired. I could get 10 hours of sleep one night and I still feel so tired, like I slept 1 hour. I want each and every one of you to know that depression doesn't make you any less of a person. It doesn't make you any worse of a person. It just means that you're struggling, and you're gonna get through it. You're gonna get through it every time. You just have to work through it. But you'll get there. You can do it. If I can do it, anybody can do it. Do not let depression define you. You are better than depression. You are so much better than depression. You're stronger than depression. You just need to, like I said, find things that will help you work through it and figure out what's gonna work for you. Because you cannot let depression define you. You are so much better than that. You are so much stronger than you think you are. Even though in the moment you don't think you're strong. You don't think that you can get to the next step. You can get to the next day. You don't think you can even make it in 5 minutes. Trust me. You cannot let depression define you. You just have to remember that you are stronger than depression. And you always have to remember that depression isn't permanent. Depression is something, as I've said 1,000 times in this video, it's something that you have to work through, but if you put in the work, you will get through it. You will get to those happy times again. And seasonal depression is like my entire life story. And people don't realize that November and December are supposed to be like the best months, because you have Thanksgiving and you have Christmas, and it's supposed to be this white winter wonderland. And a lot of times people have seasonal depression, and a lot of times during the winter time is when they have that seasonal depression, because they're not getting all the vitamins that they need from the sun. They're not outside. They don't have a lot to do. They're cooped up in the house. Unless you like ski or snowboard, a lot of times you don't have a lot of activities to do outside, and it's cold, it's bitter. You can't really drive anywhere if there's a bad snowstorm, or it's starting to snow, or there's gonna be a snowstorm, and it's never fun. And especially for me, it's not a fun time, because I don't know if I mentioned this in my first video, but November is my mom's birthday. December is Christmas. That was her favorite holiday. And then January is her anniversary. And I do anniversary because when I think of anniversary, I think of happy things like wedding anniversary, or a dating anniversary, or things like that. And I don't think that this is something that should be celebrated or like whatever. So I always say it's her anniversary, because it's not a good day. So I'm gonna collect myself right now before I get sad. Please remember too, depression is not who you are. It's something you have. Again, that goes along with that depression doesn't define you. Depression is not who you are. Depression is something you have, not who you are. It doesn't make you who you are. It doesn't make you any less of a person. It's just something that you live with. It's something that you have and that you fight, and you fight through. And you're surviving. You are living, you are breathing, you make it through every single day. You need to give yourself credit for that. You need to think of the little things and give yourself pats on the back when you make it through another day, when you don't want to get up and you don't want to go to school and you don't want to go to work and you still do it every single day. Just that is helping you get to the next step. It's helping you get through it. And you are, again, you are so much stronger than your depression, and it doesn't define you. It doesn't make you who you are. You have to be patient with depression. Again, depression can last 1 day, 3 weeks, 3 months, a year. You can go through phases of depression, so lengths of time that you feel depressed at all times. And you have to be patient because you will get to those times that are happy times again. You will get back to that point where you feel happy and you take a breath of fresh air and you say, oh my God, I finally am out. I'm finally free of that phase of time. I'm finally free of depression for right now. And I say right now because it could come back. And you know what? I hope it doesn't. I pray that it doesn't for you. But sometimes it does. And just know that when you make it through it one time, you can make it through the next time. And you can make it through any time after that because you did it that one time. Or you've been doing it for however long. And you know that you can continue to get through it each and every single time. And it's tiring, trust me, but it's so rewarding when you have those feelings of happiness and when you feel so, so good about yourself again. So my 3 tips for you guys on some things that you can do when you are starting to feel depressed is tip number 1, to know when you're feeling more than just sadness. So you need to make sure you can identify the difference between just being sad or feeling sadness and the difference between being depressed. You need to make sure that you know the difference between the two. Tip number 2 is to allow yourself to get through it. So in this, I have like a couple of like side tips that go with it. But you need to allow yourself the time. You need to give yourself the time. You need to allow yourself to feel it because if you don't feel it, you're never going to get through it. And I learned that a lot with the grieving process, which I'm going to do a whole nother video on too. For the first year after I lost my mom, I didn't feel anything. I didn't allow myself to feel anything. And it really took a toll on me because after that first year, everything hit me so much harder because I didn't acknowledge anything that had just happened to me. And everything hit me like a ton of bricks. And it was just so much harder to deal with that I had put it off for a whole year and I hadn't felt anything. So you really need to allow yourself to feel it, and you need to allow yourself to learn what makes you happy. You need to allow yourself the time to figure out what to do while you're feeling depressed, whether it be write in a journal, whether it be talk on the phone to your grandma for an hour, whatever. Whether it be getting your favorite dinner, whether it be talking to your long-lost best friend, or whatever it may be that you find happiness in while you're depressed, you need to allow yourself time to figure that out. Because I can honestly say it's taken me about 1 year to 2 years to figure out what brings me back to those happy moments, what brings me back, what gets me back out of those depressed times, and what helps me get through them each and every time. And I had to allow myself to feel the hurt and feel the depression, and I had to allow myself time to figure out what helped. And then again, this is one of my tips for anxiety, but it's so, so important that you ask for help. You should never have to go through this alone, and you should see somebody, talk about it with somebody, whether it be a therapist, a doctor, a guidance counselor, a grandma, a grandpa, a mom, an uncle, a best friend. Ask for help. don't do this alone because it's not something to go through alone. And again, anybody can reach out to me because I have been through it multiple times, so I do know what it feels like to go through something like this. I am going to leave the phone numbers for the suicide hotline and the depression hotline down in the description below. I will also link some websites that you can visit that may help you. I, again, really hope that this video can help somebody. Please keep reaching out to me. I do love hearing from you guys. It really means so much to me. So I think that's it for today's video, guys. Don't forget to watch the bloopers. I know that a lot of people probably missed them in my last video. Don't forget to like this video, comment down below, and subscribe. Don't forget to click the post notification bell so that you guys don't miss out on anything that I post. And I will see you all on Sunday. Bye! So I don't know where anybody else is today, but it is snowing in Connecticut. Yes. I like when we first get snow and then after like an hour I'm so over it, but right now I just sat in front of this window and recorded my video for you guys, and I just love watching it snow. I apologize if you can hear my dog breathing, but apparently he wants to be in on this video. So, I'm sorry for that, but he's sitting right next to me and breathing so heavily, so I'm sorry. Come here, come in. Come here. Say hi. Say hi. Okay, go. Okay, go. I am so sorry. Currently, he's chewing on a bone. Now he's gonna play fetch with himself. Why is my life so difficult? Oh my god, my dog just farted. It stinks so bad. You have to... Hello.